In today's video, we're going to discuss some of the most underrated players in the NBA right now. So without further ado, let's get this started. Kristaps Porzingis has quietly been playing at an all-star level. And no, we're not exaggerating. The 7'3" giant is averaging 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 1.6 blocks while shooting 48% from the field and 34.5% from three. These all-star caliber numbers are going under the radar only because he plays for the Washington Wizards. And while they definitely aren't a great team and definitely not a playoff team, they are solid nonetheless. And Kristaps definitely plays a huge role in that. Just to throw this out there, he's fourth among all centers in points per game. And the three in front of him are Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis, and Joel Embiid. Not bad company to be in at all. And as far as scoring, he's shooting 70% on 4 attempts on shots from within 5 feet. And of course, he's 7'3" tall, so he's doing exactly what he should be doing. But from 15 to 19 feet out is where he's most impressive, ranking third among all centers from that range. On shots from 25 to 29 feet out, Kristaps leads all centers in percentage. And given the fact that everyone's amazed by the prospect Victor Wembanyama and what he can do at his size, it's kind of strange how Porzingis is going under the radar while being a 7'3" two-way skilled monster. He's taking defenders off the dribble, backing down players in the post, hitting turnaround and fadeaway jumpers, while also having a sweet touch from mid-range. And on the defensive end, he's still elite in that area. Because not only is he 10th in the NBA in blocks, but he's 3rd in contested two-pointers, and 4th in contested shots per game. So he is definitely a player to keep an eye on for the remainder of the season. As for this next player, while he isn't putting up all-star numbers, he's still playing pretty well and exceeding most expectations. Ben Simmons is averaging 8 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 5.8 assists while shooting 61% from the field on 6 attempts per game. He's doing the little things for the Nets that they desperately needed last season. And Simmons is transforming into a near-perfect glue guy. He rebounds at a high level, and he's a good playmaker and defender, with defense being his biggest component. He's the most versatile defender on the roster by far, and he's greatly needed in a conference full of great scorers. Next up, Jaden McDaniels. McDaniels has been an underrated player for the Timberwolves for at least 2 seasons now. He's averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 1.3 assists while shooting 53% from the field and 37% from 3 on 3 attempts per game. He's really effective off the ball, and he's shooting 37% on 2.3 attempts on catch-and-shoot threes. Last season, he shot only 31% from deep, so his improvement from behind the arc is definitely a contributor to why he's gotten an increase in minutes on the court. He's also a solid passer, and while that's hard to tell based on his low assist average, he's a pretty good ball mover and isn't hesitant to make a quick pass. But on the defensive end is where Jaden is elite. He's one of the best defenders in the league, and at 6'10", he can defend 4 positions at an elite level. He's even averaging 1.1 steals and 1.2 blocks per game. When he has it going defensively, he can single-handedly alter an entire game. He is just that talented on that end of the floor. He's also 8th in contested threes per game, so that further proves the amount of effort he gives. And while the Timberwolves aren't really playing that well this season, it definitely isn't his fault. The next underrated player is Ivica Zubac, and while he did get a lot of recognition for his monstrous 31 points and 29 rebound game, he still doesn't get the attention he deserves. He's averaging 10 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 assist while shooting 62% from the field on 6.5 attempts per game. While he isn't an all-star, he just might be the most solid center in the NBA. He can do nearly everything and plays with great hustle and really high basketball IQ, which is why he'll be a great fit on any team in the NBA. He's 6th in the NBA in rebounds per game and 8th in offensive rebounds. So clearly he's a really good rebounder, and he gives the Clippers a lot of second chance opportunities. On defense, he's playing great, and this is by far his best defensive season for his entire career. He's averaging 1.6 blocks while also being 2nd in the NBA in contested twos per game. Zubac is also 16th in defensive box plus minus and 20th in defensive raptor. He's playing at a borderline elite defensive level, so it only made sense that we mentioned him here in this video. For the next player up, let's go to Charlotte and talk about Kelly Oubre Jr., who has been balling out this season. Averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.7 steals while shooting 43% from the field and 31% from 3 on 7 attempts per game. And yes, we know the Hornets are one of the worst teams in the NBA, and maybe that's why he's able to put up such great numbers, but it's not like Kelly was ever a bad scorer. And in fact, he's averaged over 15 points per game his last few seasons in the league. The fact that they're sort of tanking is evident in his number of shot attempts from the field. He's ranked 27th in field goal shot attempts, which is more than Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, James Harden, and Jalen Green. So yeah, no offense, but when Kelly Oubre is taking 18 shots per game, there's definitely going to be something wrong. Especially since he's only averaged averaged 10 attempts for his whole career. But nonetheless, he is playing great on both ends of the court, so he deserves to be mentioned here today. Next up, Kyle Kuzma. He's averaging 21 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 3.6 assists while shooting 45% from the field and 33% from 3 on 7.5 attempts per game. And within 5 feet from the basket, he's shooting 71% on 5 attempts. Kuzma is a really good finisher, and he uses his 6'9", 220-pound frame very well. On shots from 5 to 9 feet, he's shooting 40% on 3 attempts. So he does a lot of his damage from within the free throw line, and it's working out for sure. From 20 to 24 feet, he's shooting 38% on 2-point attempts per game, which leads the entire team. And when you factor in the amount of attempts, Kyle Kuzma is ranked 8th in the entire NBA in catch and shoot threes, shooting 34% on 6 attempts per game. That's what makes him such a threat for the Wizards. He's a high-volume shooter who would have had no problem shooting 100 threes in a single game if he needed to. And he's 22nd in catch and shoot threes made per game. So he's been an elite catch and shoot player this season, and if he can keep it up, he can average 20 points for an entire season, something he is more than capable of doing. And of course, he's still a really good rebounder and passer, and isn't bad on the defensive end either, making him one of the most versatile players in the NBA. Now, before we make it to the next player, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NBA content. But for now, let's get on with it. This next player has been putting up good numbers for the past few seasons now, and his name is Jordan Clarkson. He's currently averaging nearly 20 points a game while averaging 4 rebounds and 5 assists while shooting 43% from the field and 33% from 3 and 82% from the free throw line. He's also shooting 39% from shots within 10 to 14 feet and 46% from 5 to 9 feet. So not only can he throw punches, but he can throw the ball in the basket as well. On catch and shoot threes, he's shooting a pretty good 35% on 4.4 attempts and a solid 33% on pull-up threes. And outside of marketing, he's the most productive player on the team, and his ability to facilitate and rebound makes him even more valuable. And speaking of value, let's now discuss one of the most valuable bench players in the entire NBA, Malcolm Brogdon. He's averaging 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists while shooting 50% from the field and an unbelievable 48% from 3 on 4 attempts per game. He is just the perfect fit for the Celtics roster. He can shoot, pass, and defend at a high level and gives Boston even more reliable depth. Malcolm is a very quick and efficient player. Everything he does is calculated, and he rarely makes bad decisions. He's honestly a player every up-and-coming youth player should model their game after. Not everyone can be Curry, LeBron, or Giannis, but you have a much higher chance of success playing like he does. He knows his role, and he does it very well. And that's why he's been successful his entire career. On shots within 5 feet, he's scoring 47% on 3 attempts, which is 3rd on the roster behind Tatum and Brown. And that's what's making him so effective right now. Because not only can he really shoot, but he's just as good at getting into the lane and making plays for himself or his teammates. And to cap off his game, he's been an elite free throw shooter for his entire career, and he's never shot under 85%. And now, last but not least for this list, he's one of the most unique and underrated players we have in the NBA. He is Josh Hart. Hart's averaging 9.7 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1.5 steals while shooting 48% from the field and 38% from 3 on 2 attempts per game. Yes, you heard that correctly. 6'3" Josh Hart is averaging 8 rebounds right now. And he's averaged over 7 rebounds the last 2 seasons. He's the 2nd best rebounder on the Trailblazers, while being one of the shortest players on the entire roster. It really is incredible, and it shows just how tenacious he is. And his ability to out-hustle and out-will his opponents night in and night out is remarkable. He's 3rd on the team in assists, 4th on the team in field goal percentage, 1st on the team in steals, and 2nd on the team in offensive rebounds. So there you have it. Hopefully that explains why Josh Hart is underrated and why all those guys are underrated. And before we wrap up this video, let's list 5 honorable mentions who could have just as easily gotten their own segment. Number 1, Aaron Gordon. 2, DeAnthony Melton. 3, Kevin Love. 4, Clint Capella. And 5, Nick Claxton. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.